Mabuiga, welcome back to the Garifuna Experience Podcast. I'm your host, José Francisco Ávila. Numadagu, my friend, have you heard about Mayor Mamdani's Mapgate? Recently, City Hall released an updated official map of New York City's immigrant enclaves. And let me tell you, it has already sparked a massive five-borough debate. The map highlights 30 vibrant immigrant neighborhoods across the city. Places like Chinatown, Koreatown, Little Guyana, Little Haiti, Little Palestine, Little Yemen, and Little Senegal. But as soon as the ink dried up, New Yorkers noticed a glaring problem. Some of the city's most historic immigrant communities were completely wiped clean off the chart. No Little Italy, no major historic Jewish or Irish enclaves. Naturally, the backlash was swift. Italian-American leaders and neighborhood advocates criticized the administration for erasing the very communities that shaped New York's DNA. Now, Mayor Mamdani's team has scrambled to clarify things. They pointed out that this map was originally launched by the Adams administration back in 2023, and that the current administration only added 4 new neighborhoods based on recent data from the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs, including Little Odessa, Little Senegal, Little Egypt, and Little Palestine. They claim the map's goal is to highlight current, lesser-known, foreign-born enclaves, and they've promised updates are on the way. But here's the real takeaway for us, Numadagu. This controversy is a masterclass in the power of place. It proves that maps are not just lines on a page. Maps are political power. They dictate who gets resources, who gets recognized, and who gets remembered. And if historic communities like the Italians, the Irish, and the Jewish with deep roots can be left off the map, you better believe our community has to fight twice as hard to ensure we're written into New York's geographic story. Today, we are talking about how we are putting Garifuna Town on the map, literally, politically, and historically. The gateway to Garifuna Town and 6 to celebrate. Understanding this exact power of place is what drove us at the Garifuna Coalition USA Inc. to take action. We decided to define our own space. In November 2022, we submitted a comprehensive application to the Historic Districts Council's 6 to Celebrate program for the Happy Land Memorial. The memorial is dedicated to the 87 men and women who lost their lives in the heartbreaking Happy Land Social Club fire at 1959 Southern Boulevard on March 25, 1990. The majority of the victims were of Garifuna descent. The Happy Land Social Club fire remains the deadliest fire in New York City since the historic Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire, which coincidentally occurred the exact same calendar day back in 1911. More than just a monument, the Happy Land Memorial is a landmark that serves as the official gateway to Garifuna Town in the Bronx, the proud home of the largest Garifuna village in the entire world. This memorial is living proof of our long history, our tragic losses, and our enduring pride in the Bronx. Based in the West Farms neighborhood, Garifuna Town is dedicated to showcasing our history and culture, particularly along the busiest corridors of 174th Street and Crotona Park, Boston Road, Southern Boulevard, the Crotona Parkway malls, and East Tremont Avenue. This is where Garifunas have lived, worked, played, and built their lives for decades. And in March 2023, the Historic Districts Council, New York's citywide advocate for historic preservation, officially selected the Garifuna Coalition as one of their 6 to Celebrate awardees. This is New York's only targeted citywide list of preservation priorities. It means the city's top preservationists are working alongside us to identify, protect, and promote the historic resources of our culturally unique Afro-Indigenous community. We were chosen because of the deep cultural, architectural, and historical merit of this neighborhood, and because we refuse to let our presence be erased. Walking through our history. So, how do we make this history tangible for the rest of New York? We walk the block. I personally lead the Happy Land Memorial Walking Tour. As a licensed bilingual guide, I love taking people right onto the pavement of West Farms. Along the way, I provide deep historical context, sharing stories and insights about our community's contributions and experiences, and shedding light on the significant locations that have played a profound role in our history. This walking tour is not just a stroll. It's an integral part of my Bronx Garifuna History Project, designed to track, trace, and document our historic Garifuna heritage sites. When we talk about heritage site, we mean a geographically and historically identifiable landmark or area that carries profound Garifuna cultural and physical significance. These sites serve as undeniable evidence of Garifuna intellectual history on the planet. And we just hit a massive milestone. On March 24, 2026, the Historic Districts Council and the Garifuna Coalition officially launched our brand new Six to Celebrate walking tour guidebook, the Garifuna Diaspora. This beautifully designed brochure features the critical sites of our walking tour, inviting the world to explore our legacy. We trace landmarks like the former Santos Baptiste Social Club at 1753 Boston Road, Trujillano Park right at Southern Boulevard and Fairmont Place, Casa Yurumein's former site at 1300 Southern Boulevard, the former location of Hamalali Wagusha Inc., the voice of our ancestors, which stood as the most prominent Garifuna organization of the 2000s. It was there that Maria Elena Maximo, the executive director, became a major driving force behind the efforts to bring political leverage to the Bronx Garifuna community by aggressively promoting the Garifuna census. The brochure acts as an open invitation to New York and the world to explore, protect, and celebrate our unique legacy. Check our show notes for the link to the brochure on the Historic Districts Council's website. The 2031 Strategy. From cultural pride to political power, the 2031 Strategy. Now, let's talk numbers. Let's talk politics. New York City is home to the largest Garifuna population outside of Central America, with an estimated population of over 250,000 people. We have been migrating to this city since the 1930s, and over half of our population, a stronghold of over 100,000 people, reside right here in the South Bronx. This makes the upcoming Garifuna American Centennial 1932 to 2032 an incredible milestone, marking 100 years of the Garifuna community presence and contributions in the United States. On August 17, 2022, I testified before the 2022 New York City Districting Commission's public hearing in the Bronx to gather community feedback on the city's redistricting maps for the 51 city council districts. My message was clear. As a part of the Garifuna Coalition USA Inc.'s mission to improve the social, economic, political, and cultural condition of New York's Garifuna community, we embark on our first effort to participate in the redistricting process to ensure that we can define our community, its geographic reach, and advocate for our own interests. Currently, in the preliminary plan, the Garifuna community is divided amongst 4 city council districts, Districts 8, 15, 16, and 17. This division amongst our community creates issues in creating accountability from elected officials and limits our access to critical resources, which deepens the social economic inequality that exists in our community. We have a distinct community. Its boundaries are Fordham Road on the north, 135th Street on the south, Webster Avenue on the east, and Bruckner Boulevard on the west. Our community is interested in consolidating into as few electoral districts as possible. Ideally, we would like to be consolidated within Districts 8 and 17. This will benefit our community by generating attention and awareness of our community's needs and help build meaningful accountability to our community by empowering our voice through the political process. It is time to transition the way the Garifuna community is viewed. We are moving from a purely cultural identity to a distinct demographic and political typology. Why does this matter? Because of the power of communities of interest. In the political world, a community of interest is a geographically defined area where people share common social, cultural, and economic bonds. When the city draws electoral districts, they are legally required to keep these communities together so their voices are not diluted. Redistricting only happens once every 10 years. The data from the upcoming 2030 U.S. Census will be delivered to states in 2031. That data will dictate political representation and funding all the way through 2040. For decades, we have been undercounted and politically fragmented because our Afro-Indigenous identity does not fit neatly into the rigid government forms. Through aggressive advocacy during the 2010 census, we finally got specific codes for Garifuna in the 2020 census. But that was just step one. We have been forced to select one checkbox in the ethnicity question. Is this person of Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin? And provide one written response. 5,710 people answered yes, another Hispanic, Latino, or Hispanic origin, and printed Garifuna to the ethnicity question in the 2020 census. In addition, the race question asks, what is this person's race? Mark one or more boxes and print origins. 14,946 people marked Black or African American and American Indian or Alaska Native and printed Garifuna as origin in the 2020 census. This has fragmented our data and split our political power. Politically empowering the Garifuna community requires moving from the status of a hidden demographic to a recognized, mobilized voting bloc. In the American political system, visibility starts with the census. Without accurate data, the community is invisible during redistricting and resource allocation. The Garifuna Complete Count Committee would launch a citywide campaign to ensure Garifunas are accurately counted. By defining the boundaries of our Bronx community of interest today, we are preparing to pursue official Garifuna electoral districts. But let's keep it real, family. The landscape is changing, and the stakes are higher than ever. Look at the national stage. Right now, we are seeing constant ongoing legal and political attacks on the traditional majority-minority House districts, the very mechanisms that historically sent a surge of Black and Latino lawmakers to Congress. Many experts predict that this national redistricting battle is about to cascade straight down into state houses and city councils. Because of this endless partisan battlefield over redistricting, the entire concept of a community of interest is being distorted. Instead of focusing on protecting local neighborhoods, it's being hijacked by national partisan calculations. This toxic shift only alienates regular voters from the belief that their individual voices and the distinct concerns of their specific part of the country actually matters. As both major political parties play this map game, we're going to see both sides dilute majority-minority districts whenever it gives them a national edge. That means both sides could actively contribute to a dangerous loss of minority representation in Congress in our state houses, and in our city councils. This is exactly why we cannot afford to sit back. We must organize a dedicated task force right now to actively monitor the 2031-2032 redistricting process. We have to ensure that our Garifuna community of interest is kept whole and not fragmented to satisfy someone else's political agenda. By 2032, our centennial anniversary, our goal remains unshakable: direct Garifuna political representation in New York City. We are not just a culture to be celebrated during Garifuna Heritage Month or our street festival. We are a voting bloc and power bloc of 250,000 people ready to be activated. A new beacon in Garifuna town, Casa Yurumein. And if you want physical evidence of the power of place, look no farther than 931 East 174th Street. On May 30th, 2026, right in the heart of Garifuna town, Casa Yurumein officially opened its brand new headquarters. It was an incredible, emotional day, filled with community leaders, volunteers, and the beautiful music of the Miss Garifuna participants. Arnold Ciego led the guests in a reflection on unity, and the legendary Mirta Colon, president of Casa Yurumein and Hondurans Against AIDS, walked the guests through the historic struggle of Garifuna people in this city. This new headquarters is not just an office, it is a powerhouse of community services, including the Miss Garifuna program and youth cultural leadership development, support for women entrepreneurs and building political alliances, a vital community pantry program, and fundraising initiatives, crucial immigration and political asylum services, led by dedicated community advocates. Casa Yurumein's relocation right into 174th Street is the ultimate anchor for Garifuna town. It stands as a monument of hope, service, and cultural pride for hundreds of families in the Bronx. I invite every single one of you to visit the new facility and get involved. Dear listeners, the lesson of Mayor Mamdani's Mapgate is simple. If you do not map yourself, you will be left off the map and lose political influence. We have the numbers, we have the history, we have the culture, and now we're building the political power. Let's work together to make sure our community remains visible, our needs are addressed, and our legacy is respected. And that wraps up another illuminating episode of the Garifuna Experience Podcast. Thank you for listening. Remember, the future of the Garifuna people is in our hands. Until next time, stay united, stay proud. Sungube Lida Aba. Ayo. Find new episodes of the Garifuna Experience Podcast every Tuesday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon Music, or wherever you find your favorite shows. Please rate and review the Garifuna Experience Podcast. It helps our history reach the world.